Hey everyone, in this video I want to talk about designing for embroidery, more specifically designing for embroidery with Printify. Now that Printify and Printful are together, there's so many more products on Printify that you can add embroidery to. So we're going to check that out. I'm also going to go to Etsy to show you some of the popular styles right there that they're selling really good on there. So I'm going to show you that. Then I'm going to go into some of the guidelines on Printify and show you how to make some of these in Canva, bring it back into Printify and show you what it looks like with mockups and everything. So lots to see in this video. If you're ever interested in embroidery, you don't want to miss this. I'm going to show you everything about how to design for it using Printify. All right, real quick, I'm here on Etsy. I'm just looking at some of the best sellers for embroidered shirts and just to see kind of what's selling on here, just to get an idea. So first, just text, plain text right in the middle, small right here. You can do that. Here's some simple bookworm right there. You can see it's making a lot of sales. And then text again. This isn't embroidery. I don't know why it pulls up here, but we got custom text, very simple fruits, text again. Text seems to be the thing that people like on here. It's very simple. It's embroidery can do it really easily. We also got animals here, which is really neat. So animals, fruits, text, sometimes a mix with it, what you saw here. This one's really big. I don't think Printify can do this yet, but it can do some of the other stuff that's smaller. When it comes to designs, some of the designs need to be a little smaller, more like that instead. But you can put it on the side here. If there's a pocket, you can put it in the pocket. This one's kind of the right size, so you can see an animal with some text that does that, and so on. So I would stay away from this kind of very intricate stuff, and I'm going to show you why. But you can put some, smaller things like this, and text, of course, just does really well. A lot of these is custom text, so you could do that as well. But yeah, embroidery is something that people like to buy on Etsy, and most of the time you can put the price up a lot higher too. Oh, and one of the other things is comfort colors. I noticed that was being used. You can see, where is it? Comfort colors here. I think this one says comfort colors as well. And so we're going to see that in Printify. So just real quick, if you didn't know, on Etsy, embroidered stuff does sell on here. And I think as we get into Q4, this is going to be more and more apparent as people buy these as gifts. So let's get into Printify right now. I want to show you all the products. There's so many more products. So as you gear up for Q4, and we're going to see that comfort colors, and then we're going to see some of the guidelines for it. All right, so here I am on Printify. I'm going to go to catalog here, and you'll notice embroidery new. So there's a lot of new products. So I'm going to go here, and we're going to talk about this as well. They have this curved text in Printify that you can do, which is really, really cool. We saw a lot of that on Etsy. And here's that comfort colors right here. You can see by comfort colors, and this is the one that's trending. A lot of people are using this for the embroidery, but if you notice, there's a bunch of other stuff you can do embroidery on tees and hats and hoodies, and look at all these products. There's actually 3 pages worth of products, so I'm kind of blocking it here. Let me move this. There's page 1, page 2. Look at these. That's really cool for embroidery. This on here, denim jackets in the corner. Like, look at all of these things. Really cool. Oh, even sweatpants, polo shirts. What is this? A backpack? You can embroider a backpack. And look at this jacket. Really cool. So lots more products than they had before. I'm going to go back to the comfort color since that's the one that's trending right now. I'm going to click on here, and you can see the option to do either DTG, direct to garment, or embroidery, which is what we're talking about today. One of the ways to find the guidelines on this, because you might be wondering, like, what are the limitations to this? How big do you have to make it? What kinds of things can you do? What colors? So I'm going to go to more about digitization right here, and it's kind of telling you some of the things. Right now, the digitization fee is free for a limited time, so that may go up in the future, but that's nice that it's not. And then if you hit these guidelines, I'm not going to read all of this, but they're important. You should read them before you go. But these guidelines will take you here on some of the things. So This is really important, minimum thickness of line. So you don't want to use designs that have very thin lines. That might not work out. So when you go to Canva and you're looking for designs or graphics, make sure that they're thicker, and I'll show you what I mean by thicker. Here's some do's and don'ts. Don't use gradients. Don't do kind of this. You see the very thin line. You can better to fill it in, and better to be more vector based instead of this and that kind of thing. And then the colors right here. Well, this is another one. Instead of gradients, instead of all that background, it's just telling you to use that. And this one right here, what colors can I use? They have a set of colors right here. I believe it's 15 colors, but you can only use 6 at a time per design. So I would limit your colors to, I would say just 2 or 3 really, but you can have up to 6. And these are special colors. So when you go into Canva, we're going to use these hex codes to change the colors on the graphics that you bring in from there. So let me show you how to do that right now. Let's get into Canva, and I'm going to open it up and then show you how you can use some of these graphics and how to color them and so on. All right, so here we are on Canva. What I'm going to do is hit create, and I'm going to do the custom size of 1200 by 1200. That's for the small version. I forgot to show you on there, but when we go back, you'll see it. There's a smaller version and a bigger version, and only the smaller center version is the one that we're going to be able to put graphics on, and the bigger ones are for text. So I'll show you that when we get there. But 1200 by 1200, you can either type it in here, pixels, or if it's saved, you can click on it. So this is what I would look for in elements. First, I would do like line art, right? Because that's kind of the things that we need. But be very careful with line art. One, don't just use one of them. I think one of the rules of Canva is you have to kind of put these two together. But 2, I wouldn't use like thin ones. Like that's really cool, and you may think, well, I can put like 3 of these together, but see how thin that is? I would actually do something a little thicker. Let me see if I can find one. Like this one's really thick. Like that would be safer to use instead of this one. This is kind of thin. And remember, one of the things it said is to make sure that it's thicker. See the difference between those two? So when you're looking for line art, I would say use something that's a lot thicker in this sense, like this one right here, and then you can fill in the color if you want, but and use some of the special colors. In this case, let's see if this one's using, yeah, so black, one of the colors that we had there was black, and it was 00000. So this is the right black that you can use. So and I would fill it to the as big as you can here. Let me move myself again. I'm always in the way. And then I'll make sure that it's this big, and then also add more things to it. So if you want to use text on here, I think that would be great. You can come in here, add some text, a headline down here, and then king for a day, or I don't know what you got to find out what's trending here. One of the fonts that's really cool that people like to use is like a typewriter font, and here's one. Well, it's not on there. I'm gonna just type in typewriter, like that, and then ITC American Typewriter I think is one, but there's a bunch of them on here, and this one's free, and this one looks really cool on it. So I'm gonna leave this here, and we're gonna save this as one of them that we're gonna use. Okay, I'm gonna add one more. Another thing that you can do is an element. I'm gonna look for like starfish. So here, okay, so again, you don't want to use this. You can see there's way too many colors, way too many things. You also want one that you can change the color, because we're gonna need to do that. So let me look for like a really simple starfish here that I'm thinking about using. All right, so I found this starfish. You can see the difference, and you can color this one. So right here, let's go to the 2 colors. So we got white, it's FFFF, that's the white that we saw on there. And this one is an orange, but it's not the same orange. So the way you would do this is you'd click on here, and you would type in the hex code that was on the orange. So here's the reminder of what the orange is, E2 5C27. All right, so once you do that, click that, and you can see that's a totally different orange, but that's fine. That's the one that it uses. It's kind of more of a darker orange. Now you can use any color. It could have been the red, it could have been the teal, it could have been whatever, but pick one of those colors that we saw, the 15 colors, and then type in that hex code here. So I'm gonna get rid of this guy, and we're gonna put this in just to see how it looks on here. And again, you can put text in here or whatever you want, but I'm gonna leave this like this. And I think this white is thick enough, so we're gonna have two colors in this one. I'm gonna do one more, and let's look for like flip-flops. So I'm gonna do flip-flops like that. And again, we're looking for one. I wouldn't do this one. There's, again, you can't change the color. So let me get rid of that. This one may be okay, but I wouldn't put the shadow on here. I would try and limit this to maybe 2 or 3 colors. So I'm gonna look for another one. All right, I found this single one, so now I can just do this and kind of change the color. So for the bottom one, I'm gonna try a totally different color that that we had before. There's that aqua teal. I'll show you this right here. And the number for that was 3399FF, right? See that? And then I would combine these two. So there's a little shadow on there, but that line is way too thin for embroidery. So we're gonna take that one right here, and we're gonna change that to the gold. So let's do that, come in here, and I'll show you the gold again. That's FFCC00. And we're gonna do the same through this one. Since we already have it, we'll just click it there, all right? And then we can do this, we can move it around like this. We can flip this other one since we have it, like that. And of course you can put more things. So I would fill the space here, like that. And then maybe put something else on the side here, maybe smaller seashell or maybe dots or something, because you want to add a little bit more to this for Canva. So either text or a star or maybe some shapes. Let me do some shapes here. I'm gonna go back to here, and we got shapes. This star right here, right? Cool, I think that would be fine. And then maybe the star here. Very neat. And then of course, we'll have to pick one of those colors that we had before, so to make sure that that's the right color. All right, I think these are great. I'm gonna save these. I'm gonna just hit share and hit download and hit PNG. Make sure you have the transparent background. And I'm gonna download all of these. We're gonna go into Printify, and I'll show you how these look on the Comfort Colors t-shirt. All right, we're back on Printify. We're here at the Comfort Colors 1717. I'm gonna just hit start designing right here. And we're gonna come in here. Now there's different places where you can put your embroidery. You got the left chest, the center chest right here, the front center chest, but you notice when I pick that upload and my library is not available, you can only do text for that. So I'll come back for that one. You got right sleeves or left sleeve. So that's right at the top right here in the middle. So that's kind of middle of the sleeve. So you can do that. I'm gonna do center chest for now, and I'm gonna upload one of the things. So I'm gonna go to my device. I put it on the desktop here, 1, 2, 3. Let's just do the first one. There it is, King for a Day, really good. And I can change the color of the shirt if I want, so select variant. So let's see what it looks like on some other ones like ivory and khaki and things. And I can also preview it here. It's gonna take a little while because it's doing a different kind of preview. It's doing an embroidery preview. So let's see how that looks. I'm gonna do white here. All right, so here's what it looks like from far away. You can't see the embroidery, so let's see on this one. I think it might be different on black. So here's another mock-up with the Comfort Colors. There it is. in black, I don't think you can see kind of the embroidery, the shadow, the highlights and things like that. So it might be a little bit different. Let's try some of the other ones that we did. So I'm gonna go back to edit. I'm gonna take this out and let's upload the other one. I'm gonna go to my device. Number 2, remember the starfish. There it is. Let's see how that looks like in preview. All right, so the preview takes a little while, and that's because, take a look at this. It's trying to duplicate or show you kind of what it looks like with the embroidery on it. So the kind of the stitching on here. Let's look at the front. Well, let's look at somebody wearing it. Yeah, so there you go. So it's trying to do some of the shadows and the highlights to show you that it's actually embroidered. Now, when you come back in here, you could come in here and actually put some text in it too. So if I come in here and I wanted to put text and this, I can stretch it out like this, and it has the right colors. So when you do the text, it actually knows what colors to use. You don't have to put in the hex code. So if I wanted to do like the blue, it already knows that, and navy, it already knows that, and so on. So there you go. And let's see what it looks like now. Yeah, look at that. Looks pretty cool, right? On here. So that's how you do it. I'm gonna do just the last one since we already had it. I'm gonna upload from my device number 3 just to show you how it turned out. The slippers. Pretty cool, right? Let's see the preview on that one. There you go. That's pretty cool. I like how the slippers turned out with the 2 colors that I picked on there. And we can try the different color shirts. There you go, on a different color shirts. I kind of like this like lighter shirt, not just white, but having some other kinds of lighter shirts on here. So I think that works really well. Now, one more thing before I finish this video is the bigger one, this large one. We're gonna have to take this off first, and we'll do the large one here. Now this can only do text, but as you saw in the beginning, you can art your text. So I'm gonna show you how to do that. I'm gonna use Alpha Slab 1 right here. And let's say we wanna do one for Mimi or Nana, like that, or Gramps. That would be cool. Whatever it is, you can come in here and you can go to this right here, curve text, and look at that. You can actually change the curves on it. So you can do like how you saw on some of those Etsy ones where there's the curved text right here. And you can add another text box too if you want to do 2 text boxes. Let's say you want a date on here since 2025. You can come in here and also put that right under there and it'll do it. Now you could do it in reverse too. So if you want to do a black t-shirt and then do these in white, definitely you can. I think that stands out. So look at that, really cool. And you can do it the other way as well. So we saw on here, let's go back, you can do it this way too, if that makes sense, or do both, right? You can do one this way and one the other way and so on. Actually makes more sense this way and this one the other way. But you also have circle too. So if you have something that you want to put in a circle, I know it's kind of a small space and you might not want to use this really thick font. Let's try something like this. You could do something longer in a circle, and I think it will fit. So let's see. Does it need to be? Yeah, so it actually makes it into a circle. I didn't type in anything, but I just showed you that it's a longer letter, so you can actually do circle designs, which is really cool too. So maybe a longer name or something, you can do it as there too, and you can rotate this stuff. So have fun with this. I wanted to leave you with some of my favorite fonts that I use on here. So I'm gonna list these out right here. So just so you can see, you can find the fonts in here. So type these in the search, and I'm gonna just list them out here. So here are my favorite serif fonts. There they go. Adima, Alpha Slab 1, Calistoga, Kasperson, and Graduate. And then here are my favorite sans serif fonts, so without the serifs. Alta, Anybody, Bebas, New, Statliches, I think that's how you say it. For the cursive fonts, I like using these. Borel, Cookie, Handmade, Apple, Leckerli 1. And for some of the fun fonts, these are the ones that I would suggest using. These can make some really cool designs just using fonts. I think fonts have some really fun characteristics to it, and these are some of my favorites. Berkshire, Caveat Brush, Grand Hotel, Mochi Pop P1. So there are all the fonts that I like to use. Again, you can try all of these out. There's so many fonts that it has on here, that Printify has, that you can use. Just some really cool ones and fun ones. So when you use fonts, just make sure again that the thickness is big enough. Like if you have them really small, like this one's really small. Let me go back and pick. So you can see that if this was small like that, I wouldn't do that. Just make sure that when you use some of these that have a thinner text, that you make them the right size so that it's thick enough so that the embroidery is on it. So have fun with this. I think this is really cool that you can create all these things inside of Printify on these different products. Now we only did this one, but you can do it on hats and sweatshirts and all of these things. And I think going into Q4, this can really help you get more sales. So there you go. That's embroidery on Printify. Now you can do so much more with the curved text, and I never showed like the graphics and stuff like that, and you can do that pretty easy and bring them in. Make sure you use the right colors, make sure it's the right thickness and everything. But I think other than that, you can make so many different things. If you want to see another video that I did about embroidery, I did it with the hats. You can see that white hat that I have over here. I should have been wearing that one, but I did that in Printify as well. I'll put that video right here so you can see how that turned out. Thanks again for watching, and as always guys, keep creating and keep learning. I'll see you on the next one.